This is the curriculum design framework presentation on backward course design, and my name is Toy Snipes. The presentation is for the curriculum and instructional design course GC 752. Backward course design was originated or founded by Grant Wiggins and Jay McTee. Jay is an accomplished author, having co authored 18 books, including the award winning and best selling Understanding by Design series with Grant Wiggins, which I will discuss briefly. Jay received his undergraduate degree from the College of William and Mary, earned his master's degree from University of Maryland, and completed postgraduate studies at the Johns Hopkins University. Grant Wiggins was an author and founder and president of Authentic Education, which is an education consulting company in Hopewell, New Jersey. Grant earned his doctorate degree from Harvard University and his BA from St. John's College in Annapolis, Maryland. He passed away in 2015. As mentioned, Jay and Grant's book, Understanding by Design, reviews the foundations and practical elements for the construction of the design of learning. It also gives a breakdown of backward course design. One of the key points in the book is that there are 6 aspects of understanding that backward course design assists with to facilitate the learning process. They are explanation, interpretation, application, perspective, empathy, and self-knowledge. The foundational principles of backward course design are based on transition from the old paradigm of teaching-centered learning to the new paradigm of learning-centered teaching. Nitsa Davidovich, in her article titled Learning-Centered Teaching and Backward Course Design, describes teaching-centered learning in the context of students not gaining skills needed to properly learn material, in contrast to the new paradigm of learning-centered teaching, which allows for various activities that assist students in learning independently. Nitsa explains that the shift from the traditional approach that sees learning as a process of passive knowledge reception from a figure of authority to a learning-centered approach that sees learning as an active process in which learners go through a process of change. Constructing courses in a backward design is based on the premise that teachers must clarify to students unequivocally what they are expected to learn, do, and understand by the end of the lecture or course. This can be accomplished by both format and activities. Format can include lectures, seminar, exercises, and laboratories or studios, while activities can include discussions, demonstrations, practice or coaching, work in pairs, groups, or collectively, learning based on case studies or problem solving, and technology-supported learning. In order to ensure student success, backward course design forces instructors to move the focus of course design from course contents to outcomes. The key elements of backward course design are learning, understanding the template, the goal of education, formulating essential questions, and understanding that the process of backward course design is not linear. I wanted to point out that learning in this sense is based on learning-centered teaching that indicates that learning involves activities that challenge students, which facilitates the process, and backward course design is a tool that can be used or a template that can be applied to various disciplines. For example, the way an engineering department may approach backward course design may look different than what a history department would do, but the template is the same. Another a way to describe this is that students in different disciplines are unique. And in the example, I can talk about the engineering students who may be more analytical and logical. Therefore, the activities given to them may fall in those categories, in contrast to students from a history department who may think more on qualitative terms. So activities can be applied in that category. The course model has 3 stages. Stage 1 is identifying the desired goals. Stage 2 is determining acceptable evidence. And stage 3 is plan the learning process and instruction. The following example of the course model was found in an article titled Using Backward Course Design to Create the Next Generation of Nurse Educator Leaders. So it specifically focuses on the nursing department. The article location is listed in the reference page at the end of this presentation, and it focuses on how that particular department applies backward course design. The desired goal is stated, and then acceptable evidence is stated to verify the student progress is being made toward the goal that is listed. And then the final stage explains the activities and instructions that will support the overall goal. So in the example, you can see for the first stage, it says student will, upon completion of the program, function within the educational environment. And that's the first stage. The acceptable evidence is described in the second stage, which shows examples such as discussion board questions, monthly seminar, and digital portfolio. The third stage talks about the different learning activities and instructions for the nursing, for this particular department. So examples of that would be coaching from faculty to stimulate further thought, discussion, or based on student response, or selected textbook or readings to support course learning outcomes. So these are just examples in the 3 stages that were used in this particular department. Another course model example is I found from an article titled Backward Course Design, Making the End the Beginning by Kimberly Doherty. And it talks about education in reference to pharmacy. So it talks about a particular college of pharmacy and how they used backward course design. As you can see in stage 1, it talks about the goal, which would be using the principles of pharmaceutical care, be able to design, implement, monitor, evaluate, and adjust care plans that are patient-specific and evidence-based. This includes the ability to obtain and analyze a complete medication history. Stage 2, the evidence would be, examples would be quizzes, tests, and homework. And then stage 3, in terms of planning the learning experiences and instruction, it uses a WHERE-TO acronym, and I can explain what that is. W stands for where is the unit going and what is expected. H stands for holding the student's interest. E stands for explore, experience, enable, equip. R stands for reflect, rethink, revise. E stands for evaluate, work, and progress. T stands for tailor and personalize the work. O stands for organize for optimal effectiveness. And this acronym WHERE-TO is actually used for designing the lesson plan. So that was what was mentioned in terms of pharmaceutical education and how they would apply the 3 stages of backward course design. I have listed questions on this slide that teachers or professors should consider when implementing backward course design. And the questions include, what do I want students to be able to do or understand by the end of my course? What are the big ideas? What specific understanding about these ideas are desired? What student misunderstandings are predictable? What questions will foster inquiry, understanding, and transfer of learning? and what should the student be able to do as a result of the knowledge or skills. The relative strength of the model is that it ensures learning objectives are met, requires students to think critically and learning with a certain level of independence, and ensures that students acquire skills to use for future endeavors. The relative weakness of the model is that it does not account for all possible student challenges, as some can be unpredictable, and it does not require a checking system where the model is run through various sets of eyes to find possible gaps that may occur with knowledge transfer. And again, I understand that the model is basically a template to be used in reference, which can be used by different departments or different disciplines, but it's hard to account for all possible outcomes when dealing with students. But I think in general it does a pretty good job. But again, things can be unpredictable, so that's why I included that as a weakness. So, in conclusion, I just wanted to point out the key points of backward course design. And the key points are that backward course design is a model that a professor or teacher can use to make sure that students achieve learning goals. There are various examples that it can attest to the success of the backward course design model. The model is focused on the overall understanding of the course material from the learning centered approach. This is my reference page. I actually used different perspectives in terms of backward course design. So some were articles, others were like a website. I have websites from Jay McTee as well as Grant Wiggins. And I just wanted to, understand backward course design from different areas. And also, these resources were very understandable, not really, too technical in their explanation of backward course design. And I just wanted to just get an overall picture of the course design and how it can be applied. So those are my references. My reflections on backward course design is that I would like to, if I ever do teach a course, I would like to use this design model in terms of designing a course. I feel that it's, useful. I feel that, in my opinion, the strengths outweigh the weaknesses because I think with anything you're going to have pros and cons, but I do like the strengths, and I feel like they really speak to the success of the model. And I feel that it's really useful and can be used in a wide variety of disciplines. And I like the way that it also kind of like is more a calming model where you're not, what to well, for the most part, what to anticipate or expect, and you're not, like not looking at all possible outcomes. So yeah, it doesn't really cover every aspect that can happen. Again, unpredictable events can occur, but it still is a good model to kind of, for the most part, capture what you can kind of preconceive before the course even starts. And I think a lot of that would also come from, as a professor, learning who your audience is and learning the types of students that you are dealing with in terms of, just different characteristics, whether they're undergraduates or graduates, or more so their age in terms of adult students versus dealing with people who are more like a younger age, like maybe in their 20s, or like older adults, different characteristics such as that. So I really do like the model, and I feel that, again, I would use this model if I ever ever am able to teach a course, and I am glad that I was able to learn about the details and the template.